No, I can show him, but I can show the video. I can focus on him. Yes, sir. Okay.
Let's take a deep dive into what it was like. Wow, wow. Thank you very much, Director. Thank you. We'll now ask the ED and the Minister of Environment to please come up to this podium. Thank you. Good afternoon. My name is Genya Bianco. I'm an environmental engineer for protection. I work with the Ministry of Public Works and also with the EPA as consultant. I am glad today to be here to moderate this very important session that means a whole lot to the people of Liberia and through the support of the Environment Canada and the government of Canada. Today we are here to talk about the works that are currently ongoing, from innovation to implementation, strengthening and enabling environment for climate action in Liberia. Today, this event comes about as Liberia advances its climate agenda through strategic partnerships and strong institutional frameworks. A key driver for this progress has been the Canadian Project MRV for Climate Action Program in West Africa, which has strengthened Liberia's enabling environment for effective climate action. The program has enhanced Liberia's multi-climate governance. It has strengthened capacity for climate data collection. It has provided analysis and reporting, and it has fostered interministerial collaboration, transparency, accountability, and education through university level MRV curriculum development and innovative laboratory. Throughout this initiative, Liberia has improved its climate governance. It has unlocked investment opportunities and has aligned its low emission development pathways with sustainable growth goals. The side event today will highlight Liberia's achievement under the MRV Climate Action Program and the vital partnership with Canada in building systems that translate innovation into impactful action through transformative powers, such as we have the strengthening of the multi-level climate governance network and the National Climate Steering Committee. We have established the MRV University's curriculum and the Climate Action Lab in Liberia. We have enhanced forest and mangrove MRV systems, supporting local scale composting operations and net metering policies. Also under this program, we have developed a national climate community of practice that shares information across different sectors in Liberia with different practitioners about actions that we are taking across different sectors. Also, these have helped to build a network of university-led climate innovation labs across Liberia. Today, Liberia achievements and lessons learned through the MRV for Climate Action Program is going to be shared with us. We're going to demonstrate how it has strengthened governance systems, contribute to participation, transparency, and even our NDC implementation aligned with Liberia's address agenda. So we say thank you to the government of Canada for reinforcing this Liberia and Canada collaboration as a model of regional climate governance and transparency. With this being said, I would like for us to please put our hands together as we welcome Dr. Emmanuel Uriyapaolo, who will officially give our opening remarks. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Honorable Minister Judy, the Minister of Finance, Deputy Minister joining us, for Economic Affairs, members of the Canadian delegation, members of my team from Liberia, partners, distinguished ladies and gentlemen. On behalf of the Governor of Liberia and the Environmental Protection Agency, I extend our deep appreciation to the government and people of Canada for their continued leadership and partnership in advancing climate action across West Africa. From Canada support China through the last year, the MRV Canada Action Program, Liberia has transformed and skills that move us from innovation down towards implementation. A few years ago, climate action in Liberia faced major challenges: fragmented data, limited coordination, and weak technical capacity. Today, thanks to Canada partnership, we are witnessing a new era of evidence-based and transparent climate governance. The MRV Climate Action Program has empowered Liberia, just like Gigi mentioned, strengthen multi-level climate governance framework and revitalize our National Climate Change Steering Committee. Establish university-level program for climate action and create Action Lab, one of the best we have in the country for innovation. Through this program, we do have a lab where we're able to boil big climate data. Enhanced forest governance system is showing that Liberia's vast ecosystem, as you saw on the screen, are fully integrated into our national climate reporting and market readiness to support community-based composting operations and net metering. And we are happy to say that in fitting with the net metering policy, the regulation is about to move, and through that, EPA building our climate lab, mines and energy will be getting solar system to tap on the grid. Through this program, we developed a vibrant national climate change community of practice, bringing together government, academia, civil society, and the private sector. These achievements are not just technical milestones, they are the foundation of Liberia's ambition to implement NDC 3.0 and to align with our arrest agenda for inclusive development. That is the government development plan. Through this partnership, Liberia is able to measure what matters. We can track emissions, plan better, attract investment with confidence. The results are visible: greater transparency, stronger inter-ministerial coordination, and the emergence of young professionals driving climate innovation from our universities to our communities. Canada investment has created an ecosystem where data policy and practice work hand in hand to deliver real impact on the ground. As we celebrate this achievement, Madam Minister, let me emphasize that this is only the beginning. Liberia is still ready to deepen our collaboration, and that is why we have the Minister here, so that we can even talk more to scale up renewable energy solutions, advance forest and mangrove protection, and mobilize public finance that empower local communities and women entrepreneurs. Together, we can demonstrate how North-to-South cooperation, anchored in transparency and mutual accountability, can build a climate resilient future for all. Thank you for giving us steadfast partnership and for believing in Liberia's capacity to lead by example. We look forward to even stronger collaboration as we translate the innovations we have made into actionable impact for Liberia, Canada, and the global community. Thank you, Madam Minister.
Wow. Thank you, Evie, for stressing all this beautiful work that has been put into this MRV program. And again, a very big thank you to you, Madam Minister. And we'd like to also just acknowledge Madam Jackie Messier, the Program Manager, Offset and Emission Trading Carbon Market Bureau. Thank you. You were here before time. This shows your interest in what you're doing in Liberia, and we are happy to have you. And we look around the room. We know there are other folks here as well, delegates that came along with the minister. We want to say thank you. You're welcome. As we go into the next phase of this event, we are going to showcase now Liberia's transformative pilot achievements under the MRV Climate Action Program. building the system that turn innovation into impact for climate action. With this, we would like to call on two of our national experts, Mr. Isaac Yanayon-Kaina and Mr. Calvin T. Colley. Those are national experts who are going to come and showcase what we have gone through, these transformative projects that you've heard about. Mr. Khaled, you will read, they will join us. They will read. Yes. Oh, you want to read? All right, so what we do at this section, we'll just allow ED and the minister to retire so they can see the works we have done on the screen while the experts do the presentation. Isaac?
Thank you. Just 1 second, get the presentation set up. But what we want to do is to showcase our work. We have roughly 10 contemporary panels. Each of the panels were from the concrete sector. So in the first slide, basically we had all of these panels are linked to our evergreen roadmap. Sometime in 2023. The first step to implement our program was to develop the Evergreen Roadmap. And the Evergreen Roadmap looks at multi-level planning governance, MRV system, and so on. And from there, we straight up a series of pilots that in the previous presentation from GD and ED, we talked about net metering, multi-level planning governance. All of those pilots have a great impact on the country. So, firstly, we're looking at the multi-level climate governance in Liberia. How will the program strengthen that? Initially in Liberia, you found that multi-level climate governance was normally at the national level. That was in the National Community Study Committee. But with the program, we were able to scale it down. The multi-level climate governance not only talk about the national level, it will further down at sub-national level across sectors and ministries. So that started with that. So at the national level was to create, so that I was just talking about these slides before then, just we will start overview of our program. We have our evergreen roadmap of 10 comprehensive pilots. Those 10 comprehensive pilots have delivered more than 10 different achievements between 2003 and 2000 currently. And we're going to work with each of those pilots with a little staff, we do our best to cover time. So with the next slide, we will
All right, thank you, Isaac. Distinguished guest. Pleased to present some of the key achievements that have been made with respect to climate action program. As mentioned earlier, we have 10 transformative pilots. All of these 10 transformative pilots were beginning with multi-level climate governance. Now, it is key to the implementation and the actualization of Liberia's commitment towards climate change. Here, decisions and coordination and the governance mechanisms are the key. So one of the things that have been done is to be able to ensure that we have a platform that brings all of the actors together at national level. We have a functional, multi-level, intersectoral, interdisciplinary community that coordinates climate change. It's a great achievement of this program. In addition to that, Liberia, we have local communities. It is important that we begin to integrate what happens at the local level. And this program has been able to establish a strong mechanism in the country with respect to climate change. And one of the key achievements we pointed to is for the first time we are now having local communities and counties having their own climate action, their own framework around that to help them to have the evidence-based decision around this action. So we have those functions have been found together. We also been able to bring together a critical segment of our governance project in the legislature to be not actively involved in our climate change arrangement, and that is a plus for us as a country. Next.
So one of the things that we haven't done the climate change law, we don't really have a climate change law in Liberia. We have a series of policies. So one of the programs is to process set up to have a better climate agreement. So we set up a national carbon policy that is ongoing, and the next is to have a climate change law. But before that, we thought of setting up the university curriculum and our committee, which we never had. So in terms of capacity at the national level, very limited. So the first aspect was to set up a community-based curriculum for postgraduate diploma and postgraduate certificate program. And we started that platform on the 25th students, the first cohort. That was really focused on building capacity, because at the end of the program, what happens is there to be a continual, let's say, generation of local experts that understand climate change and so on. So at the university level, we have this curriculum that will be scaled up at the national level across all universities. But this is not part of that at the University of Liberia, and I'm going at the rest of the university. We talked about the climate action lab. So the climate action lab was one of the protocol, let's say, intervention we had. And this lab, you see, this is the picture of this lab. We use the lab for almost everything in terms of climate change and data collection. And we're scaling up across 4 regions in Liberia. So at the university, at the university, which is following the south part of Liberia, those that know Liberia, in Lima, in Bon County, as well as in America. The skill of this lab. And this lab is very quick. It's not only we see parallel lectures, but there are a lot of stuff at the back. Part of today is to we continue technical capacity building beyond Liberia, beyond the climate action lab as well as the university. We have students of national technicians being trained at the JG Market Institute to have more capacity build in GP accounting system. Next one will be the next one. And it goes like the forest here, we're looking at the forest. Liberia has a very vast forest. It's almost 6.6 million hectares of forest. The entire country is kind of green. But there are a lot of personal, a lot of stretch, and a lot of national protected areas. So one of the best things we'll do is to have a forest monitoring information system. It's a web-based alert system. So if there is a deforestation, it's a pre-forest somewhere, you will have an alert from the phone. To the national, the forest development authority will use that to know that okay, this is happening in this forest. So this actually help to enhance forest monitoring and government, especially the institutions that impose forest monitoring. Beyond this upgraded system, we also have a trained technical expert for the entire country. So first, before you monitor forest, we have the expertise. So the first thing we have in each of the country or under the rules of experts that monitor this forest and work with the forest development authority. I want to go to the next slide. Now, this is one of the great activities that is ongoing. That is the waste. It's a local scale composting operation. This involves building physical infrastructure. But this is to turn waste to energy. So it's organic waste that are turned to compost for agricultural production and so on. So this is ongoing in Muslim, which is we have the capacity monitor. We have this ongoing and built in Grand Basel in my country, one of the biggest countries with the highest population in Ghana. So this construction that I'm doing, being a composting site, and then being ready to not only turn waste to compost, but also training people. So also have levels of entry. There are a series of meetings across the region to talk about and understand how to manage waste properly and separate those waste and be able to come up with a compost. Now, one of the policies is the net metering. The net metering issue, I think this is new in Liberia. We don't really have it in West Africa as a whole. So this is an innovation actually that came about. We have a lot of solar panels everywhere. How do we connect to the grid? So this policy, like the meeting mentioned, the policy has already been adopted through the program. The regulation is ongoing. But not only to develop the policy, to also practice those policies and to have PDCs installed in government ministries. And the reason is also to help to reduce greenhouse gas emissions. So those ministries that are using, let's say, diesel to fuel or to run their operation will no longer have to do that. So there's a complete cut-off of emission from those ministries. And it's ongoing. Now, one of the pilot activities is the urban heat harvest. Tomorrow is one of the hot cities. We also want to make it hard for them to try that. So there was a series of training research being conducted in Monroe across the city to test to actually see if we had an urban heat housing scenario. But if you look at the picture, those that understand, see the picture on the corner there, you find out that the city is actually hot. So there is new intervention that are planned to see how well we can address the issue of urban heat housing. All of this then made possible on the program. And our key concluding point is that the very transformative journey for the MRV Connecting Program has laid a solid foundation for data-driven, inclusive, and carbon action. Balancing economic governance cities to empower universities, communities, government institutions. The programs are built momentum, sustain national and international competition with the NDC. So across the country, has the County Environmental Committee that leads on the NDC and the local action. And our achievement has demonstrated innovation, institutional capacity, collaboration, and accelerate climate action, cost of resilient ecology sector. And our next step that we look at in the future as the last slide is basically to scale up our NRV system across sectors, ministry, institutional climate action curriculum. To take that not at pure university, but in the national curriculum program and the higher education that will be used across the country. Also strengthening local climate action plans. And on the project we have 15 local climate action plans that are being developed to help counties actually address climate change education as well. To leverage rich cooperation, foster knowledge and change social learning across Africa, as well as local carbon and low carbon technology. To mobilize finance, enhance policy integration, lend MRV icon to national development and resilient framework to sustainability. So these are key programs that we are focusing on in the future, and all of these are going to be possible on the MRV program. We are very thankful to the government of Canada for this program, and we hope that we can scale it up in the next possible future. Thank you.
Thank you so kindly to our two experts, national experts, Mr. Isaac Hanna and Mr. Covington Twine. Let us put our hands together for the summary of all the transformative pilots that are currently ongoing and been demonstrated by Liberia through the support of the Canadian government, through Environment Canada, through local sphere. About this time, we would like to put our hands together and ask the ED and the minister to please make their way back. Thank you. We're moving very quickly in time. Now we will call on the Minister, Honorable Judy, to please share with us a special statement today.
Thank you. So first of all, I want to thank the EPA for the invitation to be here and here at the Liberia Pavilion. if I could start with another thank you, there are probably two things I love most in the world. One is art, and one is fighting for the environment. And that film that you started with, I think, is a really beautiful way of bringing the two together, using music and pictures to really show what we're all fighting for when we're doing this work. So I want to thank you. I think that captured a lot of the spirit about what we're doing here. So thank you for that. I also want to thank you for the presentation because I think it was really informative, and honestly, we talk about data a lot and it rarely sounds really interesting and exciting when you talk about it, but when you broke it down as to what you're actually able to do with that data, how you're helping, the university programs, how you're working with urban heat islands, which is an issue that Canada faces as well. That knowledge and that data is so important for planning the next steps. And so if I leave it with this, I find a lot of times when we're talking about everything we're talking about here at COP, it's hard because we're talking about very hard the issues that our planet is facing and the people on our planet are facing, as well as all the nature. It's a lot and it can feel very hard. I feel like every presentation I give starts with a list of very hard things that we're facing in this very moment. So I don't want to detract from that, but I think we need to take hope in every moment too about what have we accomplished and how do we move forward. And I think that this whole presentation and this time we've had together highlights the hope when we partner together and how Canada and Liberia have been able to partner to make so much progress together, and also to set the path forward and to show how when we're actually all working together and we're doing all of the important work together side by side, that we can actually accomplish so much. So I really thank you. I learned a lot in these short moments together. Thank you. I'm sorry, I got distracted. I think first I can handle that. Let us please just appreciate the Minister, Honorable Judy Douglas, Minister of Environment and Climate Change Canada. We appreciate you being here today. We are honored by you visiting with us as we go to this most important event.
That is solid, partner.
So I think they have some electrical issues that they are trying to ask us to give them a minute to settle. That's what he's trying to tell you. Can the guys come quickly, please? Can you come quickly? Can you come quickly? So while they handle that, we'll be moving forward. On one of the important figure in the house today, we have the governor of the second largest county in Liberia, who is face of tradition in our midst, and she's also a female and a leader. So we call Honorable Cousin Tokola, who is going to do something very unique for you and on behalf of Liberia. Yes, Minister, please come forward. Yes, you have to come back. We're going to do something additional. Thank you so much, Honorable Minister. Thank you. Welcome to the Liberia Pavilion. We are grateful along with our Honorable Director, Executive Director of the PPA for all you've done and all you continue to do for us. So traditionally, there are ways to say thank you. Unfortunately, we are not back. One of the ways to say thank you is we give you grace. I will stay with you. And then one of the ways that traditional people say thank you is we give you 7 polite. Because 7 represents us, 4 represents them, and 3 represents us. We give you rights, so we say never suffer any problem. The only problem you have is hunger. When you get rights, you are free. And the most beautiful you to do is to also crown you, give you a beautiful outfit. And this outfit wanted to go to Canada with you. Meaning, the support is for you. You are not forgetting us. Every time you open your closet, you're thinking Liberia. And you are dreaming Liberia. And you are loving Liberia. So together we work to address the climate issues we have in Liberia. So we say thank you, and with the our national color and our national fabric. So this is Liberia, our president said, take Liberia, love Liberia, and Canada is helping us to build Liberia. Thank you. Yeah, so boring.
No, I think we have too many where they will apply. Too many where apply. Aside from apply, Minister. Yeah, so what you saw on the TV, we able to catalog it here, the natural capital outlines of Liberia, our heritage and everything we have in that, so that you can see it, we can see it around the world. So yes, so we give it this as well. Can you start?
Alors, mesdames et messieurs, nous demandons de citer la présentation du PITA à travers la politique communautaire avant. Pour montrer combien de fois il est important et essentiel de disposer d'une entité nationale alternative au niveau de nos pays. À l'issue de cette présentation, nous allons ouvrir la série de questions, de propositions, pour pouvoir arriver à ce que nous
Yeah, I think there are 3 or 4 other topics for the minister to also take some of the things around like here. We autograph all of those, so those are additional topics, and the rest of it. Yes.
We have employees that people want to work. If you need to work,
We want to say a big thank you to the government of Canada. I want to say a big thank you to the government of Canada and its people. Thank you for being here. Thank you for your support. And the program is not over yet. We still have a panel discussion, a deep dive into what this program have done across different sectors in Liberia. And we have a panel discussion that is about to begin. So we will call on our panelists now to please come on to the platform. We'll start with our former ED, Dr. Emmanuel K. Uriyapawa, Executive Director, CEO, EPA. Please put your hands together as our panelists come onto the platform. We also like to welcome Mr. Isaac Nyanyokana, a national expert. And let's please put our hands together for these hardworking experts. It took a lot of effort with their hard work to get us here. Now let us also welcome Mr. Calvin Colley, another national expert who has also worked tirelessly in this MRB for climate action. I'm sorry. Thank you, Calvin. Now we're going to call on Now we'll call on another expert. We like to call him the National Boom. And this time around, it's not the government boom. Is he around? The National Boom. We'd like to call him the National Boom. Mr. Zay Elijah Wapo, National Coordinator, NCCSC, to please come on the stage. Thank you. So we're gonna go into a deep dive.
Question. Niban and CB are looking at this book. If you would imagine that CB and then
Okay, yeah, we had a little technical glitch, but I think we're over with that. So let's get to business. I tell you, this section is interesting. Just bear with us. So we're gonna go through rounds of questions. It's not gonna be long. We're gonna have first questions to go for 3 minutes each to our panelists to address the questions that's gonna be asked. And then we'll go to a second round that will be for 1 minute. And then we'll go into question and answer across the floor. So to our first panelist and our head of delegation, Dr. Yuri Yapaulo, how has the MRV for Climate Action Program transformed Liberia's institutional and policy landscape for climate governance? The second one, that is also like a beat to that question, is what are specific reforms or coordination mechanisms that have emerged as key enablers for effective implementation of the NDC? Thank you.
Thank you. I'll just give a little bit of how this program works with Canada Honorable Minister. The model they have used has been they get a Canadian NGO, they administer the money through the NGO. We were told that they put some money aside together in the pocket. Liberia, is it Liberia? Ghana is part of it. Ghana, Gambia, and Togo. 4 countries put one money in the pocket. The NGO manages the money. They will not give money to you, but you develop idea and they fund it through the NGO and they do direct. For instance, if we were having a program, get all the catering, this, that, send all the invoice, they pay the catering company. That's how we have done it. And they told me about it. I said, great. We want results. Not that we want money in our pocket. You go to other, the same thing we use it for. But in fact, it will give a hard time because, you know, at the end, all the accountability, so you don't give me money, you get ID for. But it is still how we have gone the program. It has been innovation of these people. All of them work on the program, generating idea all the time. And when you generate the idea, that goes in the concept paper, and then you send it to them, they look at it, along with the program framework, they fund it. See, the big program we had, we brought over 200 people in Kanta, which we were part of, they also fund it. So you can see the level of impact they have had that we get this message through. We managed to do a lot. In terms of the entire government, for instance, we're having a climate lab. A lot is going on in the lab. There's a lab now we're using to catalog the forest data. So even the meeting we've been talking about with FDA people, all the training that are taking place in the lab. They get a set of computers there, and they're able to sit there and play on the hard data, so we have data. In fact, they gave us 2 giant drones that can shoot up to how many kilometers? Up to several kilometers. Giant stem, you can put it up and shoot it to a distance. So big, we have those, and that we can mount, and we can send the drone over of the forest, take high resolution picture, and those pictures we can be able to analyze it. It's right in the land right now. And the trees, some young people, the cattle and the rest of it, they are using it very, very effectively so as to get the kind of hard data that we need for to make a case. So I think it has a lot of great impact that we're talking about. Net metering gave it incentive because I have solar on my house, and so in a day I produce a lot of electricity, but some of them going to waste. And net metering will flip. When you're producing excess electricity, it will send it to the grid. In the night, you don't have it, the grid send it back to you, and sometimes your electricity bill becomes zero. That's what we are working with. So we just learned a lot, and these are all going geared towards implementing the NDC. So we are very happy, but we are asking them to extend the program because it wanted down. It wanted down significantly. They say it will be over December, by March, all the program should be over. And part of the reason why we had a program to get a minister here was to make sure. Sorry, they sent me a text message that she needs to leave urgently right after her speech. They were supposed to be here up to the end, but she got an urgent call. So they sent me that message saying right after our speech, would you excuse them to leave? That's why they left. Thank you.
All of the meaningful works that this program has done in Liberia and the coordination that he has brought up to today's date. Now we'll move to our next panelist, Mr. Ezekiel. What are the major technical innovations introduced through the MRB program, and how are they improving data-driven decision making? How can Liberia MRB as success model inspire other African countries seeking to enhance transparency systems? In 3 minutes, thank you.
So thank you, Gigi. That's a beautiful question. If you look at the entire program, I want to highlight two innovations. One has to do with the use of digital platform for forest monitoring. I'm talking about online, I like the monitor forest losses. It's similar to the global black alert. So if you cut down a couple of trees in a specific area, you have an automated text coming to you strictly. So that has been developed on the forest pilot. The Gadri is working on one of our pilot. So that will help the FDA, the EPA to remotely monitor forest cover changes easily. You don't have to go in the forest so you can know that there's something happening. So we pilot tested that at the Sabo National Park where they have a lot of illegal activity. You will see you just get automated, let's say, alert coming to your phone. So that innovation actually going to help government to monitor forests where we have limited, let's say, law enforcement, like the rangers, so on. So it's kind of helpful. Another innovation is the introduction of the university curriculum. So the concept of the university curriculum is to help maintain a continual number of experts in country, not to have experts coming in and they go. We spend a lot of money on international experts. They will work a little on the So the university curriculum is intended to actually build national experts in forests, in climate, and so on. And as we speak, I think we have around 25 students, the first cohort students, and the training on everything on the use of spatial data and so on. Now, one of the important aspects of this innovation is that we use, like the plan and like we talked about, is an open source. That is easily replicable by any other country, maybe Sierra Leone, any country can take that. It's an open source, you use an open source tools, you use special tools, and you don't need to spend a lot of money to replicate it in your country or even now. Why do you say we only have it for the protected areas? The idea is to cover the entire forest area in Liberia. The reason we stick it on protected area is because protected areas is the area we have these tests. So if you put it across the entire country, meaning if anyone cut down their pepper tree, you will have an alert. So it's kind of focused on protected area. And the other aspect of your question, you were asking if I wonder one question you asked me. Okay. Okay, yeah. So like I said, this innovation, they are easily replicable, like the geospatial use of the plant alert is something that can be done easily. The university curriculum, MRV curriculum, we don't have it in Africa, in West Africa as a whole. Most of it has been, other countries want to learn that. I think the curriculum has been developed. They want to see whether we can share that same curriculum with them, that other regional countries to use that, which of course is very useful for scaling up across our national borders, and also used to maintain constant data in country. The issue of data gap, I know we'll talk about it. If we have competent experts in country that know what they're doing, you have a system that track for recovery losses, you obviously have a continuous supply of all of them. And lastly, the platform is not only to give element of forest losses, it also is a repository of all data. So it keeps information as well, but also dump information on that that will be used as a center for data storage.
Thank you so much for sharing, Mr. Kana, all the beautiful works that is happening across the MRV projects and the Climate Action Lab, the forest monitoring, and also one important thing that to add to that, the GSG Institute Management that is currently also training experts in Liberia from the same program to be able to manage our carbon. As we talk about carbon management, the law, we have few experts in countries that we can both up to say yes, through MRV program, we're able to get, people trained from different institutions. Now let's roll over to Mr. Calvin Colley, our national expert, to tell us in practical terms, how are the interventions contributing to measuring emission reduction and participation and transparency improvements? What were the key challenges that we encountered in data collection and the interagency collaboration, and how were they addressed? Thank you. 3 minutes.
We have allotted 3 minutes, but thank you so much. So I will point to 3 key areas where we can reference practical examples in terms of GHG reduction. I'll start by referencing the photovoltaic project, which we call the PV, the net metering program. In our NDC, we know that we have huge ambition around how we reduce emissions, and we know that energy is one of the key areas that we want to make intervention with respect to GHG emission reduction. So, piloting the PV program will create an incentive for us to now begin to focus more on solar. And we know that by using solar, we'll reduce our emission footprint as far as the energy sector is concerned. Most of the government institutions rely extensively on heavy fuel, diesel, to generate power towards the functions of these different institutions. So piloting this, especially with the EPA, with Mines and Energy, and also the Climate Lab, will begin to set the stage for us to gravitate towards solar. So that's one area we can reduce emission, and we are doing that. The second part has to do with waste. Again, there's a lot of methane is one of those greenhouse gases that's generated from waste. So by introducing composting, it has a multiplier effect. So besides emission reduction, by the reduction of waste, we also push in towards one of the key priorities of the area's agenda, which is agriculture, and that looks at how we improve agricultural activities in our urban and peri-urban areas. So by introducing organic farming, because the compost that will be prepared will help towards empowering farmers towards organic farming, which is very essential for food security. So that the third one has to do with the coordination mechanism around which we are able to tie our policy. So right now, with the functioning of the National Climate Change Steering Committee, through the leadership of the Ministry of Finance and Development Planning, the Environmental Protection Agency, we are able to drive our low carbon development vision. So currently we have an LTV that is setting the stage for us to anchor most of our emission reduction programs around. So that is key for us. So we think that these are practical ways we are able to set the stage and set the agenda for moving towards low carbon development. Now, this has not been a smooth walk across the park. We've got several challenges. And one of those challenges has to do with attrition of technical capacity. So capacity has been a critical issue. Whenever we have transition, we have technicians shift around. One, we've not been able to retain technical capacity across critical institutions. So that's one. The second part is that when there are new transitions in most of the institutions, you have technicians and you shift it to the post. We create a serious data gap, which creates a serious challenge in terms of pulling together the kind of capacity. The way we'll be able to navigate that is to be able to introduce what we call community of practice. So through that platform, we can bring together the expert, irrespective of your institution, irrespective of where you find yourself, that is creating that repository, as my colleague mentioned, that we can be able to leverage that level of capacity to support most of our initiatives. Another thing that we'll be able to do through the instrumentality of the Environmental Protection Agency, which is also the co-chair of the interministerial platform that we have as a country, is to reach out to all of the different institutions and ensure that we put together the kind of forces, the kind of resources we have to make sure we take innovative steps towards emission reduction. So these are just some of the practical ways to be able to do this. Thank you.
Wow, thank you so much, Mr. Calvin Colley. You have exerted very well on all of some of the challenges and how we can draw lessons from what is currently happening to reduce emission, and those are very positive steps that are currently coordination under the MRV for Climate Action Program. And what are the lessons that can be drawn from sustaining multi-level governance and local engagement in climate action implementation and monitoring?
Thank you. Tracing, like they've been known as the National Climate Change Steering Committee, existed since 2010. But it's regular coordination and then the problem. It's supposed to meet quarterly, that is 4 times a year. But in the past years, from just imagine 2010 up to the coming in of this government, it met only 3 times. So if you were to take 4 times the number of years, they were not regular meetings. So what happened is that this program has strengthened the oversight of the National Climate Steering Committee. We had a regular meeting and they had a very good oversight. The next thing this did was that, in Liberia, anything that has to do with climate change and carbon, the National Climate Change Steering Committee approved at the higher policy level, interministerial and different sectorial level coordination. So the evergreen roadmap that was mentioned here was developed under the guidance of the National Climate Change Steering Committee. They have to approve it. And during that approval process, when the Canadian representative was in Liberia, what the ED was done, so that they also have a committee. Yeah. So this program has strengthened the coordination. We have also promoted integrated planning at sectoral level. Before the minister is here, the development of the AARD, the National Development Agenda, Isaac knows that there was county level assessment and participation data collection that are happening across the country, the 15 countries. And that data informed, the planning, sectoral planning, and there are climate change document produced by the AARD, so sectoral planning, how do we handle issues that data collection inform that development program. And then the next thing they have done, they have built capacity, working peer learning, working with others, knowledge transfer has really taken place across Sundays program was initiated. Cross-sectorial coordination have been improved. You saw the superintendent here, and one of the things they did was they helped the government to ensure that, one of my colleagues mentioned, to ensure that climate change or climate actions are taken place at the local level. So in recent times, the role in the country, what is happening at the national level, the policy council and the national committee steering committee have been localized. And it's the intent of the government to get to the district level. So elections have been taking place. The county superintendent was elected in an absence. Other people left the county superintendent, elected other people. So the high democratic process happened. And they are giving us data, put data in the place. So this is really helping our program and enable us to collect data that inform national development program.
Wow. Let us please put our hands together for our panelists. Thank you so much, Mr. Wapo, for highlighting how the MRV program for climate action has supported the NCCSC in strengthening its meeting and its coordination and cutting and also into the counties. That is very important. No longer is it a Monrovia thing, it's a Liberia thing. That deserves a hand of applause again. I mean, I think it's after lunch. Lunch been gone a long time ago, so by now we should have some energy. Let us please clap for our panelists. Have just deliberated very beautifully. Thank you. Now we'll go through this last phase of round two. I would say not last phase, round two of this section. Now we'll have one question. Yeah, last. Let's have like one question to go across the floor for our panelists, and this time around we'll use 1 minute, just a minute, to address the question. And we will start with the Executive Director, Honorable Yapawo. We would like for you to share with us how has the EPA planning, how is EPA planning under your leadership to sustain these beautiful outcomes that were demonstrated here today under this MRV for Climate Action Program beyond donor support, as we know that the program is coming to an end shortly, even though we are happy to hear the idea of fostering into mere inventions, but we want to know beyond donor support, particularly in terms of national funding or policy mainstreaming, what is the EPA's plan towards that? Thank you.
Great question. For those who have followed my leadership style over the years, you observe I don't beg that much, really. And a little thing you give us, I let the users so much that people are attracted to come to it. So the force of implementing with interpreting, working hard, and people come to contribute. So we will sustain most of the program. For instance, the lab, we have begun to charge people for using the lab, and our money to go to support the lab. One of the challenges we're having is electricity, but eventually the program is going to give us a solar system, and then that bill will be like zero, right? So we'll continue to work on it. We'll continue to look for funding. For instance, the program has helped us to establish the county environmental committees. Again, go back again to tell them to operate the committees. No, that is on the shoulder of the government, and that is the EPA. So that's why every dollar we raise in the EPA, we guide it so much so, eliminating all form of waste. And the minister is here. One thing we're doing at the EPA is that we're not going by the government rate of DSA. We took it significantly down. To save money money. The latest one, we're not going by age. We took our own down so we can save money to do most of the work in CSO. So we will try our best. However, there are areas that no matter how we stretch, we can reach. At that point, people come in to help. Thank you.
Wow. Thank you, Edie. This is very encouraging to hear, and I believe our partners will be very glad, especially with your style of leadership. We know that this program outcomes is going to be sustained and it's going to last. Thank you. Now let's move to our next panelist, Mr. Kano. For you, the last question is, from a system or perspective, what are the next steps to scale up the MRV University curriculum and the climate action lab nationwide? Because in your earlier statement, we talk about, stressing across 2 or 3 other counties. Thank you.
Thank you. So quickly, I'll try to point to upskill that. One is institutional integration. So the university curriculum is basically being piloted at the university level. We want it to be scaled up at the higher education, the Ministry of Education, to see how well it can be accredited across the country, that it could be used across all universities and community colleges. So the one aspect that could scale up very rapidly. And another thing, the accreditation and certification. So the ministry can accredit and let's say accredit the program that will be sent across the entire country. So at universities or at community college, even at high school, it could be scaled up there. So I think these are 2 key major integration and accreditation across the country. Thank you.
Thank you, Isaac, for that comment, and it's very good because at the university level, the University of Liberia have made this their own and they have put it into their curriculum. So with the university taking on to the leadership role of, making this part of their regular curriculum is also going to help with the sustainability of those courses that have been taught at the university lab on climate action. Mr. Colley, our next national expert, what innovative palace from all of the palace, like the composting, the solar PV installation and others, show the most potential for replication?
So, out of the 10 pilots, as I mentioned earlier, we have the solar PV and that of waste. So for the waste, we already piloted in Monrovia. Monrovia is a twin city. We've got Monrovia and Pittsfield. So there are calls to include Pittsfield. And mind you, one of our largest waste facilities is in Pittsfield, the Wentown, all right? So there are calls to introduce the program in Wentown, also into the counties. So scaling us up is something that is in sight, and we think there are huge potential for that. For solar, again, going back to our national planning document, going back to the NDC and all of the different, everything is pointed towards a lot of focus around renewable energy. So the solar PV program will create an incentive. So right now there's a huge drive towards investing into solar energy. So that with the introduction of the policy, with the regulatory framework all in place, it will now create the incentive for people to now begin to invest more into solar. I think there's huge potential for that, and I think that's something that we need to continue to scale up.
Thank you very much, Mr. Calvin. Colley, indeed, there are a lot of pilots rolling on for those with very interesting picks. The solar PV and the composting. Looking at the waste situation we have in our country and also the electricity that is currently being scaled up by the government. Those two are very sensitive and critical picks. Thank you. Now we'll move to our national expert of experts, Mrs. Elijah Wapo, National Coordinator, NCCSC. How does the NCCSC envision integrating MRV systems with national planning and development financing frameworks?
like we mentioned earlier, what you know, I have this saying, money follows plan. Plan does not follow money. So with a beautiful plan that have been developed in Liberia, that kind of way of generating, you know, the voices of the people from local level, we can now see that this program have empowered both vertical and horizontal, you know, coordination. So the Ministry of Finance and Development Planning has a mechanism that is well fit into this entire, you know, MRV system in our country. So the National Development Plan has a section, in fact there's a pillar 6, exclusively on climate change. So that pillar has MRV straight into it, and in that there's a mechanism to generate information that will inform implementation of the climate change related activity. So that's very beautiful. So when the ministry did that, framework development. So it makes it easy. So what that has been established, just to depart from that, to go and do something different will be a very, very difficult thing. They have been a part of our DNA now to ensure that this is working down at the local level, like I mentioned, both vertical and horizontal level in country. And the core at the community level. So when you're talking climate change, you go down the line, you will see somebody from far area like Sacred Pier, in Ganta and Campley that will be talking climate change related issues because of how this program was stretched through government plan that existed already. So we can say that with that we are able to develop our national climate change carbon policy that largely was supported by them and our partners, some of whom are around here. We not got to do it. Government never had the funding. We have money up to 500,000 to help the process. But Morovia Metropolitan Project needed government support. Some say what climate change related. The government just took the entire 500,000 out. So how we're going to get involved? Government didn't have money now to develop. So we'll call, get it out with support like the program in Ghana you saw that Edie mentioned that the last program bringing youth together, local, our international partner, MFGA, Palladium, UNDP, the rest of all of them, put together, knowing that what is being done, bringing the voices of the people. So it was easy, like I mentioned, money follows plan. So the platform was already established, and they were able to build. So with this established, we think that it's a continuing process that we can live on because it brings an indelible mark in our development plan.
Thank you so much, Mr. Wapo. We'll hold you there, and we will take a few questions from the audience. Is there any concern? Is there any question or any clarification that anybody would like to bring to the attention of the panelists? If there is no question, I'm going to ask one question.
Thank you. This is a very good conversation. I like the engagement and decentralization strategy in what you're doing, and the curriculum at the college level. What are we doing about it? The high school, the young people. The reality here is the young people are thinking about the future, and we are planning the future. We might help to disseminate information at the top, but we also need to go at the bottom to also help. It may be very difficult, a costly venture, but I think it's worth the wait. In the curriculum for general science can be something that you can augment and incorporate climate action or climate discussion at the middle school level. It would be very helpful. Or primary school level would be very helpful because besides the climate disaster discussion you're going to have around the community. There's much technology innovation. They are much concerned about environmental protection. And these kids, once they have an idea, they can be able to pursue this and prevent it. Thank you so much. I want to say thanks to the EPA Executive Director, the Secretariat, for all the work that you're doing. What we have not done much in Liberia is information dissemination. You are doing a lot of work, but many people are not informed, and therefore the coordination among even the stakeholder, ministry, agency, the marks is very much low. We probably need to encourage you to have maybe you can call climate dialogue, climate forum, some discussion that you can have on the radio station so that people will know as part of your secretarial work, because it might be important that if you can just have just 20 minutes over ELBC, just short time on ELBC, it will reach across the country. It may not be something you do every month, every week, but you can just schedule it. If you're going to go once a week, you start from there at a lower level. You can also do that consistently for 6 months, and people will get the idea of what is going on, what you've done, and how are you improving the system. So that's another way I just want to encourage you, EDA, your team, so that the Liberian people will know that we are working. It's not just about the capital city, it's about the rural community who don't know much about what we're doing. Thank you so much.
Can you please put your hands together for the minister who has shed light on what we are doing, taking it down to the depths, to the students in the high schools and beyond, so that they are also part of the process and they grow into the process, because climate change is everyone's business and it's also going to impact them. With this, we'd like to say thank you to our panelists, and we'll ask that you humbly retire as we call.
Yes, let me just, I think the minister points are well taken. We are doing well on our social media, but not in the radio. So I think my media team have worked on the program, which will start rolling up to have an MOU with ELBC, to have a weekly appearance, 1 hour. That is ongoing right now. Children, we are working actively. Yesterday we signed memorandum of understanding with UNICEF. We signed it here yesterday. It's geared towards empowering children, and we're trying to work and support the Ministry of Education. We have some draft curriculum already, from primary school all the way to high school, so that environmental issues are mainstream within our high school system. What we're doing with Canada is a high-level stuff. We need the data so much urgently, so we pay attention to the university level. We got that ongoing now. We're now moving up to the youth. And one of them is sitting right by you, one of the champions here, that we're working with in terms of the youth activities. So all your points are well taken. And of course, where we get hitches, we'll come back to you. We have budget implications. Thank you.
As a beautiful word, EG, it has budget implications. So thank you for the Minister of Finance. We know everything will be okay.
It's important I'm saying this because our college days, we established what we call student anti-AIDS program, and that pick up the HIV/AIDS awareness. Instead of waiting for the national government, the women will start that. It will replicate. Many young people started organizing that. People started going in the community. Once you start a climate action education in high school, you will see you may not need money, but you need people, and people start spreading the information, start spending it. The money will come, definitely.
So just out of actually is doing a lot of good work on high school work through one of our projects called the Strategic Partnership, which Norway is heading, and also working with youth-led organizations. So there are a lot of environmental clubs, young youth-led organizations have in those various schools. So I think if the EP want to roll out into high school, it's better to work through these existing clubs instead of going to establish new clubs in those schools. They just strengthen those clubs, getting the capacity and also support to scale it up. Thank you.
So where what you do is to just let us know what you do. And then we'll support it and make it more stronger and reach a larger population. So reach by thank you.
You know, actually because of time I did not go there because we kept looking at me some kind of way, but that was actually a question that I was going to throw to the audience and for civil society because we had that as how